Good morning, students. Today we're going to discuss in this session the corporate level strategies, and we will do internationalization as a topic in it. Now, when a firm wants to expand its operations outside the host country in which it is present, in which the company belongs to, then the company can look at exploring other markets outside their home territory. This is internationalization. They can sell goods, they can sell services across their own country borders. But however, before a company does that, the company has to look at what is the competitive advantage a nation has to offer. So any market that they want to enter, depending upon the kind of business they are entering in, they have to look at the factor conditions, raw materials or labor or something related to certain natural resources if the company needs. Is it present in well amounts in their own home country, because of which they can produce at a far lower cost, and then they can expand their operations to foreign markets and take advantage of the abundance of natural resources or those factor conditions present in the home country. Demand conditions. What is the kind of demand, level of demand, and the quantity of demand in the buyer's market, which they would be able to capitalize upon? The presence of related and supporting industries in that market. First is what kind of things the company excels in, and what kind of things as a nation do they excel in. I'll give you an example of that. Then what kind of related or supporting industries are present in the country that they want to target. Let's say, for example, Germany. Germany as a nation excels in kind of steel, and then in terms of precision equipments, the best machines for ultrasounds, CT scans, MRIs, your glasses for your lenses in your camera, the glasses for your lenses in your eyeglasses, right? They're all from Germany, Carl Zeiss and others. Carl Zeiss precision lenses are used even in ultrasound machines, even in CT scanners, and they're all from Germany. As a nation, it excels in precision equipment and definitely in steel. The kind of firm's strategy, structure, and rivalry. Now, in a specific nation, how firms are created, organized, managed, what is going to be the kind of domestic competition in their own country, and what is the competition that this firm will face in the market it enters. Is it going to be very easy to overtake this kind of a firm which is entering a new market, or the firm will have a very high competitive position? The way they manage their company, the way their firm is organized is in such a manner that they can reap the competitive advantage of a specific nation. Now, while we adopt international strategies, we have to look at the pressure on cost. Can we take the advantage of economies of scale and minimize our costs by going international? Let's say we want to enter a market and we can utilize the low cost of labor or the low cost of setting up an industrial unit in that market, and that ways achieve economies of scale or location economies. What is the kind of local responsiveness? Is the government responsive? Is the government welcoming to companies who want to come from foreign markets into their country? Are business practices and policies favoring the foreign investments? Customer preferences. Do customers have a preference for imported goods, or there is too much of nationalism? In any category, be it cars, be it machinery, be it appliances, be it garments. When a firm can create a value by going to a foreign market, the company can take up the case of being international. When the company wants to be only a domestic company, but they can look at being a multi-domestic company. So, they can look at various domestic markets in their own country. Firms can adopt a global strategy, which means they can sell standardized products and services across different countries. For being transnational, they combine the kind of combined approach to being a low cost and a high local responsiveness, which means they operate in some markets outside, but majorly their operations are in their own local market. The kind of pressure of cost reduction and the kind of pressure of global responsiveness enables a firm to think and move in one of the four directions of being completely international, or being multi-domestic, or being global, or being transnational. Now, there are various ways to export, various ways to enter international companies. There are contractual entry modes, there are export entry modes, and there are investment entry modes. We look at each one of them as we go by. When you ship your goods from your own home country to a country which is outside your national borders is basically exporting. Direct exports is when you do not involve any middleman and you sell your goods directly to a buyer in another country. You have to undertake the entire market research for your products into that country. You have to handle all aspects of foreign distribution, the entire logistics in that country, the shipment, the invoicing, all those things have to be managed by the company that is exporting goods into a specific market. Now, on the other hand, indirect export is when you sell to an intermediary. And this intermediary now sells your products directly to customers or to wholesalers in that host country. Now, sometimes these intermediaries are present in the host market in which you want to enter. Sometimes these intermediaries are also present in your own country who aggregate these products and then sell it to various markets where they have their contacts or they have their expertise of selling into that market. Then we have contractual approach, in which the first kind of thing is licensing. Now, in a licensing agreement, a company which wants to sell into a foreign country, they grant rights to the firm in that country, which we call a host country, and the company in that host country pays a licensing fee or a royalty for taking advantage of the technical or marketing expertise that they get from this foreign firm. Now, this is a very good idea when the company which wants to undertake such kind of a licensing exports is very well known for its products. The brand name and the trademark is very well known and they have an expertise in it. The kind of technology that they are using is just not easily replicable. Well, the foreign company that wants to undertake licensing sometimes may not have sufficient funds to undertake an expansion into that host country. Sometimes a direct entry of that company may be prohibited. But moreover, the company does not even want to take a risk of doing so, so just licenses out. There's a Swiss company called Tetra Pak. Now, this company has got an absolute expertise and a patent for the 7-layer Tetra packaging, which keeps anything packaged inside it fresh for a specific period of time. So the juice is available in Tetra Pak, milk available in Tetra Pak. This company makes only this packaging. So, for any company who wants to utilize this Tetra Pak, takes a license to manufacture those Tetra Paks under an agreement with this firm, and they pay a royalty to this company Tetra for doing that. Philips had signed such a licensing agreement in 2010 with Videocon to market its television sets in India. Franchising. A classical example of a company that has gone wide across the world via franchising is McDonald's. In this company, the franchisor gives the rights to another firm in the host country to open operations or a retail store under the franchisor's name. And the franchisee will pay royalty, which would be a percentage of sales. Sales would be good because of the franchisor's brand equity in the market. And in such a way, the franchisor can also expand rapidly without doing any capital investment. McDonald's, as I already said, is a very good example. Acquisition. When a firm would purchase another firm in a host country to expand operations. Now, in this case, there has to be a synergy. The firm which is being acquired ideally should have complementary products. It should have a good distribution network for a firm to acquire that firm in a foreign market. Now, in this case, a company, Jindal Polyfilms, had acquired a Netherlands-based company for 607 crore INR. By this way, Jindal Polyfilms acquired Appledon, flexible packaging, and they gained access to a new product segment, which was security films. And through this acquisition, they also strengthened their relationship with the food and beverage firms and the FMCG firms. So, this company, Jindal Polyfilms, spent 607 crores to acquire a company in Netherlands, but it had complementary products of security films, which was an altogether new product segment for Jindal Polyfilms. But by acquiring such a company, they were able to sell the new products as well as their products to various food, beverage and FMCG firms. Joint ventures. A joint ventures is an association, an agreement between one firm in a host country or another firm or an agency which enables a firm's entry into that market. Now, governments may have restrictions for entry of foreign firms in their countries. Those regulations and restrictions have to be compiled with. Take for example in India. Foreign firms cannot own more than 51% stake in the firms which sell single branded products or sell to others on a wholesale basis. Many companies have been eyeing to enter India because India offers a large consumption market with enhancing lifestyles and rising GDPs. Rising per capita disposable incomes. Now in 2007, Walmart entered into an equal joint venture and started wholesale operations. They were under the name called Best Price. The first store was opened in 2009, and by 2016 they had about 21 such stores in this country. Greenfield investments. Now this is when a foreign firm does not want to purchase another firm in the host country, but this foreign firm has got a very high technological competence, diverse product lines, and a very big, rich, multinational experience. Typically, companies like Honda, Nissan, Toyota, they have undertaken greenfield investments and have started auto factories in Great Britain. By establishing such factories using greenfield investments, they have provided employment to a lot of people present in that locality who were otherwise quite inexperienced to work in those companies. They also, of course, trained that manpower to work for them. India has taken such a stride and launched a Make in India campaign. And through this route, they have attracted over 9,000 crores at FDI in India. Turnkey operations or turnkey projects. Now, Turnkey operations or projects are contracts which are given to a foreign firm, usually for large construction projects in exchange for a fee. Now, the facilities developed by this foreign firm are transferred to the host country when complete. Delhi Metro has been one of the largest publicly funded turnkey projects in India for something around 2.3 billion. Now, it included some local firms, Skanska, which is the largest construction firm based in Sweden. This way, India was able to get commissioned a working, full-fledged plan for providing rapid transportation in this country, and those facilities were transferred to India after this was complete. The fee is negotiated between the host government, company, and the foreign entity. The famous Petronas Towers, the Twin Towers of Kuala Lumpur, were constructed by a company under a lease agreement of the United Kingdom. BOT projects, build, own and then transfer, or build, operate and then transfer. They are a slight variation of the turnkey investments. In this, a foreign firm or a company builds the facility for the host country. Then they own that facility and operate it for a fixed period of time negotiated between the two parties. During this operation, it earns the investment it spent on construction of that project and also some profit, and then it hands it over to the host country or the government with low cost or no cost. Now, the Zurich Airport International AG has been granted the bid to construct an international airport at Jewar on the outskirts of Delhi towards Noida. The ADB Group of France has invested over 10,000 crores in the GMR for the overhaul of the international airports of Delhi and Hyderabad. Both of them are BOT projects. Management contracts. Now, these management contracts are undertaken by specialized firms when they assist a firm in a host country for a specific period of time for a specific fee. The host country can award management contracts to upgrade and operate public facilities, specifically airports, highways. Now, the host government expropriates, which means takes control of all the foreign holdings of the country at the end of the contract. And the foreign company or the country trains the local management of the host country for the specialized operations for which it has provided this kind of a consultancy. The German Fraport AG had under such a contract managed the Cairo International Airport in Egypt. These are usually for specialized and big projects. Before a firm decides to go international, they have to look at the cost, benefit and risk of entering a foreign market. Is it really beneficial? Can they do it? And can they do it for a sustained period of time and not just as a sudden spurt activity and be done with it? Then you have to look at the timing of entering the international market. You can be a first mover. You can register your presence by your brand name and you can build up demand. McDonald's did something like that way back in 1995. And one aspect to look at is the kind of scale at which you want to enter the international market. You want to do smaller sales, which will just give you some economies of scale and benefit to your local market and take away the unsold production to a foreign market, or you want to do a large scale entry in which will impact local competition and in your favor, but that amount of investment for the same has to be made and it is going to be a strategic decision to overtake it. There are of course advantages to expand while going international to attain economies of scale. to expand and extend your markets from just being local to global. You can realize the benefits of the local economy and provide some advantage or differentiation to your products through it. You can also access the overseas resources when you operate outside your own domestic market. But there are additional cost, infrastructure cost, and even the cost of doing market research and getting information, which at times do not appear to be so big, but at times they are quite large to be able to modify your products to the local market if need be. Disadvantages: they offer risk. Sometimes the cultural diversity becomes very difficult to manage. McDonald's across the world sells beef burgers. When they entered India, they had to not sell beef burgers because Indians don't eat beef, they worship the cows. So the first time their aloo tikki burgers were introduced in India. There is a big operation cost of international entry. Operating the international office, the subsidiaries, the bureaucratic cost, coordination, communication. A distribution cost is also there, which is higher than your local market, of course. And despite a lot of liberalization, trade barriers definitely exist. If not in terms of tariff barriers, there could be very stringent non-tariff barriers. One aspect is a bottom of the pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid is increasing sales in the rural and urban areas, semi-urban. Now, this can be done by offering low-cost products, products in smaller sizes like sachets. You can also charge pay by use. So you may not own a computer but go to a cyber cafe and use the computer and pay for the usage time. In local markets also, bottom of pyramid strategies can be undertaken. ITC does this through their e-chopals, going directly to the consumer, setting up chopals, buying houses which are all electronically controlled so that they can buy agricultural produce directly from the farmers to save on the cost of raw materials and supplies. Companies like Unilever have entered India, and it's only in the Indian market where they expanded sales across the country by going bottom of the pyramid and selling through sachets. Companies like Amul have also experimented bottom of the pyramid strategies but within the local market. So let's say if you go to the outskirts of Bhubaneswar and smaller parts of Odisha, you could get Amul sachets of cream and butter and ghee, which are not available in a market like Delhi. And before we close this session, this is again the kind of family tree of various corporate strategies. In this session, we have discussed various internationalization strategies. Wait for the next video where we discuss the strategic alliances and digitalization as a strategy. Thank you.